Okay, welcome to Into the Channel podcast, primarily about women's football. I am your host, Dino De Cespedes, and today we're joined by a very special guest who will be introduced by my co-host, Mr. Grant Engel. What's up, man?
Buddy, I'm feeling fantastic, and that is because our guest today is a PhD candidate, a freelance journalist and editor, as well as a football consultant extraordinaire. She's currently working with Football Co. as an editor at NWSL, where she helped launch the very first Arabic platform solely dedicated to women's football. She's also a former midfielder for Lebanon's women's national team, and she is written in Sharpie as Into the Channel's starting number 10 forevermore. She is an advocate. She is a powerhouse. She is our friend. It's an honor and a privilege to welcome back to the program, ASSILE TOUFAILY.
Hey guys, thank you so much for this introduction. I'm shy now, so thank you so much for your nice words, Grant.
Of course, you deserve it, pal.
All right, ASSILE, shake it off. Let's go. Let's talk some football. Just joking. Very, very happy to have you back. Well, obviously, we're just coming up to Euros, so that feels like a good starting point. I have a lot I want to talk to you about specifically, but the Euro final, we've had a couple days to kind of decompress from it. What do you feel like are going to be your 1, 2, 3 biggest takeaway? I don't know. What are you going to take away from the final?
From the final,
we'll get to France soon.
We get to France soon. Like, I wrote a tweet about it that I felt like the match was divided into two halves. The first half was kind of boring, or maybe because the two teams were very scared, they're trying to keep their defensive composure. And then the second half and the extra time, we had a completely other different game. But what I'm taking from this final is that Spain had to finish it very early on because they had the lead. They missed a few very big chances with Caldente, with Aitana, and you can't put yourself in danger against an English side who loves to dominate in the last 20 minutes and press, and this is what happened. So this is what I take from a technical point of view. I really thought Spain was gonna win, but this English, I don't know if it's a passion or if it's just this dominance or the depth in the squad or in the bench, gave England this lead. Second, it shows that a coach can have a very big impact, because if you want to compare this Spanish side from Jorge Vilda's time, even though I'm not a very big fan of Jorge Vilda, to what Montse Tome is doing now, you can see the very big difference. Like, we used to talk about Spain for a few 2-3 years as the biggest powerhouse in women's football, and now we feel like other nations, especially England, even Germany, managed to put them in an uncomfortable position. Tommy isn't bringing us the same image that we have, this dominant Spanish side. So, and I just read somewhere that the federation has 100% trust in Tommy. So I'm not very happy with this decision for the Spanish side. And lastly, I'm just happy to see a full stadium, because I think we had 29 games out of 32 or 31 with a full stadium. The final, the fact that we had the two biggest nations in Europe with the biggest women's football fan bases, I loved it. It felt like this cherry on top for a great tournament organized by Switzerland, who performed managed to put on a show throughout the tournament.
Yeah, I think that's a great point, because I know there was, I don't know if it was I don't know if maybe fear is a little too strong, but Switzerland's not a nation with a super rich footballing history. So I know people were kind of thinking about what those crowds were going to look like. And you're totally right. I mean, the crowds blew people away right away. The atmosphere, Germany's fans came out. A lot of French fans came out as well. It felt like a big tournament the whole time. I want to go back to what you were talking about with Spain and Montse Tome and kind of the changes. How much of that do you think is just, and maybe this is different in women's football compared to men's football, especially as things progress, but how much of that is just, it's really hard to dominate for several years on end? You think about in men's football, you had the Spanish side who won the Euro, the World Cup and the Euro back to back to back. we've seen Spain be absolutely dominant after winning that World Cup. Like, is it just too high of an expectation to to expect Spain to continue a run of dominance like that over 3 years?
The thing is, if you look at the squads, Spain didn't have much changes in the two squads. Like we have, like the core is still there. Like you still have Bonmatí, you had Putellas, who had an excellent start of the Euros, and this is one of my favorite things out of this Euros, that we're finally having or getting back Alexia, like pre ACL injury. Patri is here. Like many of these players are still here. England was also managed to keep most of their key players, even though we didn't have Millie Bright and Mary Earps. But like, if you want to talk from a dominance point of view, it shows that women's football is on the rise, and it's not just about the spectators filling the stadiums. It's about players becoming better from a tactical point of view, technical point of view, physically. Because I remember the US women's national team used to dominate the world. In Europe, Germany used to dominate Europe. They won way too many European titles in a row. Olympique Lyonnais used to dominate the Champions League, like club level. So we used to have these periods in women's football where one nation was able to dominate because they had 2, 3, 4 better players than the other nations. They just needed 1 or 2 stars. We've seen lately that even a team like Italy can compete because they have this structure or the squad where you don't have 1 star. Because if you look at the Italian squad for non-women's football fans, they most certainly won't recognize any players. While if you look at the French squad, some will recognize Karshawi, Katoto, like some of these icons. So it shows that Italy knew that they didn't have the best squad. They're not the favorites. They might be underdogs or considered themselves as underdogs, but they were a solid, compact team. And this shows the development. And one last quick point, is that the development of the goalkeeping position. Because I personally, whenever I used to have debates with people around women's football, the first argument they used to throw at me is how bad goalkeepers are. You have to make the goals smaller for the women. I don't know what. And then when you see saves like Anne-Catherine Berger's save, when you see Katakol's double save in the last minute against Germany, and even when you see the way they're playing with their feet, it shows that all you need is time. Not only for the game to become better, to have a better ecosystem sociologically, economically, etc., but also from a purely football point of view. Year after year, it will be hard for one nation to dominate.
Yeah, that's a great point, Assil. And I think it makes me think a couple things. I think Spain was maybe so surprising in 2023, and like they even had less players because they had the players like protesting. They were so surprising and so dominant in spots that I think all of us were just like, oh my God, I guess Spain is just unbeatable now. Like nobody's going to beat them. And I totally agree with you, because there were spots in this tournament where Germany had less talented players, whether through injury or red cards. And it seemed like as the tournament progressed, they played better, even with less talent, less players. And I think in the entire tournament, we saw the talent not necessarily dictate the outcome, whether it's teams like Denmark that had like real professional big players that play for huge teams, not really able to put it together, or Italy, I think, is a great example on the flip side, which kind of leads to it's not the smoothest segue, but I want to talk about France. Obviously, some real highs, real lows for the French team. I want to hear from you. What was the experience like tracking this team? You peak, you beat England, what the vibes are like, and then out toward the end, did France exit the tournament with some enthusiasm, or were the vibes a little sour?
Like, first of all, I just want to like have one word put out there for this French. I don't know. I can't even find the words. Like this French adventure at the Euros is roller coaster.
Roller coaster.
Yeah,
there we go.
I swear, roller coaster. Because and I don't want to like go back a month ago, because we were not gonna go back that much. But look, we have to start talking about this team ever since Laurent Bonmatí took charge of the team after Hervé Renard after the Olympics. Because since then, Laurent Bonmatí tried to implement his method. We felt like he's he had something else that Hervé Renard wasn't showing. He flew to the US where he spent a few weeks to watch the players over there. He was flying from one country to the other. So he was putting this effort into bringing something new to the table. Maybe like giving another opportunity to Melvin Malach with Manchester United. So he brought something. The results, the new Nations League were good. So we're like, okay. But then, because if you want to talk about the Euros, you have to talk about what happened before. Making such a decision 5 weeks prior to the tournament, leaving 3 mega experienced players aside, is shocking, and it's kind of the first wrong step towards doing what you want to do, because I understand that he wants to build for the future, but you could have built it right now, like on the 1st of August. So start now. Why did you start 5 weeks before the Euros? And Lindsay Heaps said it in an interview that Wendy Renard was putting the effort day in, day out with Lyon because she was preparing for the Euros. Because every football player focuses on one tournament and prepares throughout the season for this tournament. I understand that Eugénie Le Sommer wasn't giving as much as she used to before, but also if you look at the reasoning behind it, is that he wants to rely on other players or younger players. And if you look at his attack, I just have the names right in front. Katoto, Gianni, Matteo, and Delphine Cascarino are the very famous French names. We knew that they're gonna be there. So we had 2 more spots. The first was for Melvin Malach, okay, reasonable. She did a good season, and it was between her and Vicky Béchot from Lyon. And the other was Kelly Gago. Gago played 25 minutes throughout the tournament. Mm-hmm. It's great for Gago because it's her first international big tournament. She's gonna get this experience of being at Clairefontaine, traveling with the team, discovering this high-level football. But playing her 25 minutes against Wales and not bringing her at all in the other games, like 3 other games, shows that most probably you don't have faith in her or faith in her being able to impact such big games. So why not offer Gago a chance after the Euros and bring Eugénie in? Because Eugénie could have helped you 5-10 minutes per game. So that's where the issue started with me. I had a lot of people disagree, saying that he's right, he has to rebuild. I didn't like the timing. I thought he could have waited a bit, like right after the Euros. That's my opinion.
Yeah.
The Euros game, I was happy. Great opener. The match against Wales was great. Excellent match against the Netherlands with Delphine Cascarino putting on the level we know, the performance we know. But then the Germany team game came, and you felt like you had the most amateur French side ever since I don't know how many years. And like they gave you, we knew that we had a very hard chance with the group of death. They gave you this boost in confidence that we might actually make it this year, or at least play Spain in the semifinals, and then disappointment again. I'm still angry. I think you can see it. I'm still angry. I'm still disappointed because you can't have 2 very different faces, from the group stage to the Germany match. They were 2 different sides of France.
Yeah, I totally agree. And going to the Wendy Renard point, I mean, Wendy Renard, Eugénie Le Sommer, Kenza Dali being left off the squad, there was something that was being said during the broadcasts here in America. I'm guessing it probably was bouncing around over in France too, where I don't know if it was an exact quote from Bonmatí or it was just like the idea, but it was this narrative of, well, they didn't win a trophy with Wendy Renard and Eugénie Le Sommer, so why not try something different? But to your point, well, first of all, I mean, I know when Dino and I talked about it, there's no football team ever that wouldn't be better with Wendy Renard on it. There's just full stop. No team exists that would not be better with her in the squad. But secondly, when you talk about the difference in the performance from the England match and the group stage to just having a leg up, playing with a 1-player advantage against Germany and not being able to get across the finish line, there's no way that people can convince me that Renard and Le Sommer and possibly Kenza Dali their veteran leadership would not help in that situation.
Yeah. The thing is, football is a sport of subjectivity. So you can have an opinion of your own and others will disagree. That's normal. But watching the game, and I watched it again like 2 days later, I watched it and I tried to see if Germany were too good defensively or France was struggling to find the. It's both, but it's mainly France, because if you look at the match, and I tweeted about it, and this is my problem ever since Sonia Bonpastor stays with OL, is that this whole France system or generation is based on the ball passing through the middle, playing to Selma Pasha on the side who crosses the ball. You do it once, twice, 3 times, 10 times. If it's not working, it's not gonna work. You have the German players who they can literally kill you physically, and then you have Clara Matteo in the box. Like, what will Clara Matteo do? What will Sandy Baltimore do? They're physically like there's years and years behind, like physically. And at some point, whenever Selma Pasha was crossing, you could also feel like she's crossing, but there's no one in the box. So maybe one ball from Wendy Renard would have at least saved France, or like gave France one hope of, I don't know, an opportunity, a chance, a crossbar, maybe a goal. You can never know. And from a leadership point of view, in my opinion, I don't know if you heard about it, but if Renard was there's no way Alice Sombat would have taken the decisive penalty. And Selma Basha saying that she didn't take hers because she's taking more responsibility. Like, where on earth do you take responsibility by not taking a penalty? That's what she said. She said that since she's one of the leaders of the team, she let Alice shot because she's responsible. Like, it's the other way around. You have to take up or like be responsible or a leader and take one of the shots. So if you had Wendy Renard there, first she was gonna shoot one of them. Second, I don't know how to say it, but like, you can't convince me that you weren't afraid of shooting, because Selma missed the last shot against Australia at the World Cup. It's definitely this, but these details, these extra things would have definitely helped. But again, many people will tell you she didn't help us in the World Cup, she didn't help us at the Olympics, she didn't help us at the 2019 World Cup at home soil, but it's not a individual sport. Wendy Renard at the 2019 Euros World Cup scored 2 goals, gave France the win. She did her part. It's a whole system that wasn't working.
And, it doesn't help. And obviously we're here in America. It doesn't help when you run into the 2019 U.S. women's national team, who might be the greatest team of all time when you look up and down that roster. Of course, an American guy has to throw that out there. But yeah, and just the Renard, the talk around Renard just seemed patently ridiculous to me.
Yeah, and I just want to add something. Like, at some point, I was like, okay, at some point, even if you're a journalist, you have to have a subjective side. Like, this is normal because you grew up watching a player, a team, whatever. But at the same time, I tried to be as objective as possible, saying, okay, Eugénie Le Sommer's decision was reasonable. I might accept Wendy Renard's decision. I might say, okay, but not taking Kenza Dali, who was having an excellent NWSL season. And I was waking up at 2 and 3 a.m. France time to watch her and Delphine, because now I can't not watch. These are 2 of my favorite all-time players. and Kenza was dominating every single match in the midfield. How can you not take her? Again, don't put her as a starter, but don't convince me that she can't bring something up in the last 15 minutes. She can't add something, and she kind of has this technical touch as a playmaker that you might need to create some chances. Because if you look at France's midfield, Sakina is now a midfielder. She's a left back. Amel Majri, I would have taken Kenza and left Amel at home, because Kenza played more minutes this season than Amel. See, if he's talking purely about a performance point of view. Grace Gayoro, Toletti, Oriane, they all have the same profile, this physical profile, a lot of duels. Like, you don't have this playmaker. I'm actually waiting to listen or to hear what Kenza wants to say or has to say, because she said that she's gonna talk after the Euros. But how can you leave such players at home and you know that you have a group of death, and like your reasoning is the age. Look at Lucy Bronze, look at Girelli from Italy, look at all these experienced veteran players. Like this is the
Just fish
international
luck.
stage. Yeah, like
You could go way up in age.
for sure,
Yeah.
yeah. We
I think
actually wait for these tournaments to see these players because this is what they need. This is what they strive for. Like let her take her whatever she wants to do. Stop playing football right after the Euros, but give her the opportunity to play for France. See,
there's been a lot of talk this NWL season just about the mileage that Kenza Dali is running in the league. She's just basically outrunning everybody and is a real engine for that San Diego offense. And I think your point about, all right, ball in the middle, Bosch on the left, cross in, so let's see what happens. Kenza Dali is a great player to mix that up. You know, even get a start here, come in half an hour there, and it's wild because this is definitely a new Kenza Dali in the NWSL that not used to seeing. So I think form wise, conditioning wise, that one Wendy Renard is a massive mess up. I agree with you on that, Omer. But Dali, I think, is probably just as bad. You can maybe even make an argument that's a smidge worse than leaving Renard off. But where does France go from here? Did you see any young players? Did you see anything hopeful that you're like, okay, got a little something that we're excited about, or still sore?
the thing is, like, Laurent Bonadei built his entire analysis on the fact that he wants to build for the future. And then we had a journalist analyze the squad. Most of these players were present at the Olympics or at the last World Cup. So he didn't really bring in new players. Like, if you put aside Kelly Gago, who played 20 minutes, 25 minutes against Wales, he brought up new players in defense, like Lou Bogart, Melvin, and my favorite, Alice Sombat, because Alice had to cover for the absence of Wendy, but the absence of Gritchenbach as well. Other than that, I don't really see how he's building for the future. Because if you want to build for the future, you have to do like Spain, who brought Vicky Lopez, or you have to do like England, who brought Michel Adjimang and scored 2 decisive goals. So if you really want to build for the future, you have to start calling up the likes of Kessia Busi, the likes of Maylene Mendy, what's her name? Luna Ribadeira, the striker who signed with Chelsea, Liana Joseph. So these are the youngsters who you have to build your future on. You can't bring in someone who's 25 years old as in Melville Malard and say that you're building for the future. That's just an excuse to say that you want to leave these players out. That's my opinion. So where do we go from here? He said that this Euros is a preparation for the World Cup. I've never heard a coach say that he's going to sacrifice a major tournament for another. But he's sacrificed the Euros for the World Cup.
Let me guess, he said that after.
No. Before he said that.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Like pure chaotic management. Yeah, he said that France aren't the favorites, and this Euros will be a test for the future. I know what. And with the new USA squad with the youngsters coming, Germany, who have a lot of depth, England, Spain, all these players, I don't think France is heading into 2027 and Brazil as the favorites, without counting Brazil, Colombia, and the others up. So where's what about the future of France? I'm not hopeful. Like, I was waiting for this tournament to maybe boost my hopes again. I'm not hopeful. We're clearly in a situation where you need to structure the league and the entire football scheme in France before focusing on the national team, because England has the best league in the world alongside the NWSL, and who's winning the Euros? England. So we need to structure the entire French league.
I got a quick follow-up to that, just because I'm still a little bit in shock about that taking that position before a tournament. You know, we talk a little bit. I mean, it's funny because, like, you know, obviously we're in the USA, and you know, I can guarantee you that, hey, this is a warm-up tournament for the next tournament. It's all right, no worries. Has never been said in the U.S. Women's National Team sphere before anything physical has ever happened. I don't think they've ever gone out and been like, well, whatever. We're not going to win this one. It's okay. Let's see what happens. And yeah, if you're a player, if you're a Selma Basha or you're a Alice Bath or somebody younger, and I'm looking at Kelly Gago, I didn't know she was 26. So that's another one. I'm like, wow, this is a real a real head scratcher. But if you're one of these young players and you hear that, how do you go into a tournament? How do you look at Germany or Spain and be like, we're beating them to, like, it seems impossible.
Yeah, but at the same time, like when you look at the group stage, you can feel like they were playing with zero pressure on against, especially against England. Like they kind of felt like, okay, we're heading into this tournament as not even the underdogs, like as non-favorites. England are the title holders. Netherlands are here to prove a point. So we're just gonna play our game. It worked in the first game. England were very bad as well. So we have to focus on this because England woke up at the towards the end of the match, managed to score that one goal. So it's tricky because you might feel like this is some sort of a trick game by Bonadei to put the pressure away from the side, trying to boost their confidence. Maybe I don't like these methods. I'm someone who's very reasonable. Like you can't tell your players we're there, but you're not the favorites because there's no way they're gonna give you their 100% if they know that they're gonna end up losing against Spain. And you talked about this the start, Dino. Like we had this dominance of Spain and then Barcelona, and you can feel that some of these French players are scared of playing Spanish sides. Like, I believe that if you manage to beat Germany and play against Spain in the semi-final, maybe Spain would have managed to easily win the game because you feel like there's this mental issue. But at the same time, after the game, many people in the squad said that it's not about a mental problem. It's not something mental. It's not something like psych. We deserve to win. Like, how can you deserve to win if you didn't manage to overcome the game or like to score against a German side who played with 10 players? So there's something, I'm not gonna say fishy, but there's something that's not correct in this French squad. I believe that one of the ways to develop is to have more players move abroad because Delphine Cascarino said that she's been there for a few months or a year and something. This is her second season. She said that she never ran in Lyon as much as she runs in the NWSL because in the NWSL you have San Diego is an average team, but you also have many other average teams. But San Diego is able to beat every single other team in the league. While in Lyon, she can like jog on jog and end up winning 5-0. And she talked about this in the episode with Sam Ewis. Great episode. She did it entirely in English. So thumbs up for Delphine. But for players in France, this is huge. And she said that she discovered a side in her that she didn't know about because she had to run all over the field. And like she's running now more than she ever ran in her life. So maybe we need these players to move. Like we need to see Selma playing in another league. Maybe see Sakina abroad. Maybe see Katoto abroad. I didn't want to see Katoto with Lyon. I wanted Katoto to go abroad, play with Real Madrid, for example. I wanted them to taste another tactical approach to the game. But you can feel that I'm disappointed.
Understandable, and also for our longtime viewers, maybe not the most surprising thing that ASSILE wanted to see Marie Antoinette Katoto go to Real Madrid. I thought that's interesting coming from you, ASSILE. But I want to say something about the French league, and I want to tee you up for this because anybody who likes football and who's watching this show, you should immediately follow ASSILE on Instagram, ASSILE_T, the number 10. We do in the NWSL, we do have a playoff system. And I would just like to toss it up to you because obviously D1 Arkema instituted a playoff system. And I thought you had a great post and some thoughts on a playoff system. Can you please tell us how you feel about the playoffs in football?
Okay, I'm going to explain it first, like to really show the difference from the start between the playoff system in the US and in France. In the US, we have, déjà to start, you have a lot of like more teams than in France. So more teams. This means that when you head into qualifiers, I think you have 8 teams playing quarters, semi, and then final. So you have 8
That's
teams
right.
qualify. In France, the league is composed of 10 teams, or 12, like I forgot, 8 or 10 or 12, something like this. And then you have the top 4 qualify. And this is one of the reasons I like watching the NWSL, is that you never know who's gonna win, because all you need is to have Trinity Rodman ready to play with the Washington Spirit, and she's gonna win you a game. While in France, despite all the efforts, as long as PSG and Paris FC aren't gonna invest as much as OL, the league is heading to OL. So they tried to change that, give more opportunities to other teams. They decided to do this playoff system where the first 4 head into a playoffs, first against fourth, second against third, and you play a final. And the posts I wrote about it, the articles I wrote, is that it makes absolutely zero sense for a team who had a 20 points lead throughout the regular season to have to play playoffs and put the entire season in danger, just because the Arkema with Canal Plus, so the TV rights owners wanted more competition. Imagine OL, who invest 10 million euros a year, lose their Arkema because PSG got a penalty in the 93rd minute. And PSG didn't do anything throughout the season. Their star players are leaving the club. They don't want to invest. And this is a PSG who is investing millions and billions with the boys team.
Yep.
But they don't want to invest in the women's team. Is it a lack of confidence in the team, lack of interest? They feel like there's no return on investment. A lot of factors, but go to England, go to the US. Women's football has an excellent return on investment if you know how to invest in it. So yeah, the playoff system in Arkema Premier League makes no sense, actually.
Yeah, I tend to agree. Dino and I talk about it in the NWSL, even with the playoffs. I still don't like it. I mean, and I grew up in America, obviously, but just like I always feel like the most fair way to determine who wins the league is every team plays each other twice, once home and away, and that's a fair barometer. So I liked in your Instagram post, you referred to it as an absurdity, and I agree with you.
Yeah, okay. Like it's not a cup tournament. It's literally a league.
Right.
See, like a league. Like you go play against the others. If you manage to accumulate as many points as possible, but you win the league. It makes sense. See, like I'm not that much of an expert in the NWSL. I also know that there's no first and second division, so it differs. Like wanting to put it playoffs, but maybe we'll see in a few years the NWSL having first and second division with teams going up and down. You never know, especially with the salary cap now and no trade system, all these developments. But yeah, in France, it makes no sense if you have one team investing, 2 teams half investing, and the others are nowhere to be seen. It's not the same.
Yep.
Yeah, really, really disappointing in PSG. I think their run year before last to the Champions League got us really excited. Obviously, they reached the semifinal, and then it feels like it's been a backslide from there. So I got one quick question before we get you out of here. Grant mentioned your Instagram. I came across another one of your posts that I wanted to ask a follow-up about because you put up a poll. I saw the poll results, but I didn't see your vote. So, quote, I love Aitana, but do you think she deserves the Euro MVP award? End quote. So for those at home, no won the poll 66-34. But ASSILE TOUFAILY, where do you land on that debate?
I actually tried to put the poll to let people help me decide, because I adored Chloe Kelly's Euros. The way she was impacting the game in every single game was amazing, but at the same time she wasn't a starter. So can a super sub win an award for best player in the tournament? She wasn't playing much. Like, see, this is where it gets tricky. So she was one of these people who could have won the trophy. I also appreciated Alexia Putellas' Euro. The way she had to overcome the first injury and the second, and when she shut down again, like she had a very hard way back. Then she produced an excellent season with Barcelona. Like Alexia's stats this season are insane, even though some will say that she plays in Spain, so it's easier than, I don't know, a certain Lauren James in England. So I was kind of hesitant between Kelly, Aitana, and Alexia. That's why Aitana is one of my all-time favorite players. That one ball against Germany, the game was tight. There was no way for Spain to score, and then she literally just did a body feint. She left Germany's defense behind her. She lifted her head. She saw that Berger was already running, and she shot from an unbelievable angle. And in football, you just need one moment of magic by one of these greats, and this what separates a good player from a great player. So I think even though she didn't win it, she deserves it. I don't think she played the best final, like in terms of performance, but it's like maybe we can leave this to another episode. But I feel like it's not working for Spain whenever you have both Aitana and Alexia on the field. Like this might lead to a lot
Spicy.
of debates. Yeah, a lot of debates. But I feel like because they're both alpha players and they both want to have the ball and like dictate their play style or dictate their tempo. And sometimes I feel it's not completely working for them. But to keep it short, I talked a lot. I'd give it to Aitana, yeah.
Oh, yeah. No, to answer your question, can you give it to a sub? Yes, you can give it to a sub.
Okay.
I made the I made the point with Grant earlier that I just think that we're going to look back on this tournament and Chloe Kelly will be the first player that we think about.
Mm.
And then with Aitana, I love Aitana. You know, I mean, the player for me in the world. But she missed the penalty kick, in the final. And it's like, it's really hard. And I'm sure that was eating at her as she's walking up and grabbing that award. And I think for me, like you exit the tournament and like 5 minutes before Aitana missed, you exit the tournament 30 seconds before Chloe Kelly ends the tournament after that crazy run. I think it's something that maybe we'll be talking about for a while. Maybe we won't. Maybe we just move on. But I didn't want to just kind of share that note. Quick episode calendar. So much happening into the channel. As ASSILE mentioned, the NWSL's back. Champions League qualifying here already. It's soon. It's happening. I think tomorrow we get some football at the very earliest stages of that tournament. Just 5 weeks away from the return of the WSL as well. I can't believe all this is happening so quickly, but here we are. ASSILE, thanks for joining. Grant, you already know what time it is. Anything else you guys want to hit before we get out of here?
I definitely want to get more from ASSILE on her current work. I'm gonna try this, ASSILE. I'm gonna have to butcher it. So when you tell us about everything that you're doing, could you also talk to us about Rousseau Femme dans le Sport?
Yes. It took some time for me to understand that, but
my French was so bad. I'm sorry. I put you through that.
God. Those were technical difficulties. That was just ASSILE trying to translate.
He started
Rousseau?
with Rousseau. I'm like, what about Rousseau?
Oh, sure.
Yeah,
like Alessia.
Well, I appreciate you helping me out. It was just bad French.
Yeah. I'm okay. So it's been a very hectic year because I have the PhD defense on the 2nd of December. That is definite now. So it's the last straight line towards the defense, and I'm starting to apply for jobs. So stress all over the place. I've helped Football Co create this first ever Arabic website on women's football, and we entirely focus on women's football. Of course, we have a preference for Arabic football. We try to focus on the Saudi league, on the players playing abroad, but we also focus on the Euros, on other leagues. And like this is what I wanted to do all along, because I wanted to kind of offer women's football to the Arab world who's still in this place where go back to your kitchen. Women's football is not fun to watch. I want to break this. And if you look at the parade that England just did for the Lionesses, you'll see millions and millions of men participating. So I wanna help create this change. As for the réseau Femmes dans le Sport, so this is like I created some sort of a community because I felt like in sports in France, it's very hard to build connections between people, and especially between women, because some women feel like intimidated to help other women because places are very expensive and you might lose an opportunity if someone else takes it from you. So I wanted like facilitate this this exchange of culture and experiences, and help people like find jobs, help some girl find a PhD opportunity, maybe even help myself later on find a job through these connections. We're around 300 people now, 250. We have some club presidents in the group. That's very cool.
Whoa, let's
Women.
go.
Yeah. A lot of
Awesome.
journalists, some former players. We have the legendary Marinette Pichon on the group, the French forward. So it's nice.
All right.
We're trying to build this connection, and my objective is try to turn it into some sort of NGO or association where we can like host events and webinars to like, because it's nice to have women playing football, like female footballers, but also have to have women in football or in sports working around the game. So that's my main objective.
Okay, Dino, just for editing, Resu Femme de la Sport. Just edit me in there. Just take that and just switch it, and then cut down Assile's delay that I don't look like such a dope.
Yeah. And I'll definitely edit this part out too.
Yeah, he's not going to do any of that. That's okay. He likes when I make a fool out of myself trying to speak other languages.
I'm not gonna disparage you at all. You went out there. You took a swing at it. You made contact. You know,
stupid.
That's more than what I.
Yeah, you also decided to like speak in the most complicated language at once without practicing. Like you chose French.
Oh, goodness gracious. Yeah, no, see, I'll definitely echo the point. I mean, really great work. I really hope that some folks in our community have a chance to kind of like build a bridge and maybe try to connect and become a part of it. So if you have links, please send them our way. We'll add them to the show description in case anybody wants to follow up. Also, you know, with any projects that you're working on. And totally echo your point about French players in the NWSL. Selma Basha, Sandy Baltimore. I could think of about 5 or 6 that I would love to see here stateside, you know, mixing it up in our league. But with that said, this has been another episode of Into the Channel. Thank you, ASSILE TOUFAILY, for hanging out. If you enjoyed the show or love women's football as much as your boys do, as much as we all do, really, make sure you're kicking in with us each and every single week. Like, subscribe, follow YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you like to watch or listen. Leave us a review over your favorite podcast app. Links to all of our socials, except one, in the show notes of this episode. And a big thank you to my co-host as well, Mr. Grand Angle, for keeping it sleepy. 6 a.m. PT, doesn't matter. We're ready. We'll be here. You already know what time it is. I appreciate you, bro.
Likewise, buddy. Thank you again to you, ASSILE. Thanks for everybody for checking out the show. Remember, ASSILE_T10 on Instagram. We'll have links to her other work. Thanks for everybody for checking out the show. And we will see you all next time. Au revoir. A bientôt.
Perfect.
Thank you.